Kaduna State Senator Danjuma has accused Governor Nasir El-Rufai of being the architect of the violent clashes in Kasuwa Magani community in Kaduna local government area, resulting in the death of over 50. Senator Danjuma, who made his position known during plenary on Wednesday, stating that El-Rufai being out of the state when the violence broke out was no excuse for the escalation of the violence to the current scale that it had assumed. The matter on the Kaduna violence came up on the floor of the Senate following a motion sponsored by Senator Sulaiman Kinkuyi of Kaduna North, who expressed concerns that despite the curfew in the state, which has entered the third day, killings are still ongoing in different parts.
The Senate is invited to note the wanton killings which started earlier last week in Kasuwa Magani, a suburb of Kaduna metropolis within the Chikun local government area of Kaduna State. Disturbed that there was ample need to draw attention of the Senate and the general public to the wanton destruction of lives and property that has been spiral in the last few days of the week, between last week till today. The Senate is invited to note the indiscriminate, senseless killings and insecurity that has pervaded Kaduna metropolis and environ, even with the curfew imposed 24 hours in town. The Senate is further to note that the curfew, while necessary to curb the excesses of the unwarranted movement of hoodlums around town, has failed to arrest the sporadic and incessant killings that has continued unabated, even as it is happening, or it happened yesterday night.
Nkuyi, in his motion, lamented the abduction of a paramount ruler, the Agwan Adara Maiwada Galadima, in the heat of the violence, urging the Red Chamber to prompt the Kaduna State government to ensure his safe release. In his contribution to the motion, the senator representing Kaduna South, Danjuma, alleged that the Kaduna governor, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, is to blame for the wanton killings, lamenting that he left the state with no one in charge as he was away when the violence broke out. Faulted El-Rufai's call for the payment of compensation for victims of the 2011 post-election violence.
All the happenings in Kaduna State is caused by the governor of Kaduna State, because she's not putting all the necessary things in place. The responsibility, he leaves them all. And of course, anything that happens, he knows it and he pretends not to know. That's not supposed to be. Why should other people be suffering and other ones be pretending not to? It is not the most that I must vote somebody. I can vote somebody because I want that person. And if that person is not voted into power, should it be a reason for hating that person? So he's telling us that because Sarah Kaduna did not protest and he's trying to take revenge on them, that's supposed not to be.
In their separate contributions, senators condemned the Kaduna killings, including Sam Egwo, who calls for the shutdown of the National Assembly to underscore the scale of violence in different parts of the country.
We are deeply concerned in a state that is sensitively divided between Muslims and Christians. There is the urgent need for community leaders, religious leaders, and leaders of thought to rise to the occasion. Killings of innocent persons in the name of religion or ethnic identity is a serious threat, not just to the peace of the people of Kaduna State, but the peace and stability of the country as a whole. Kasuwa Magani and many other communities in Kaduna State has in the last 20 to 25 years been faced with this kind of violence. The mindless killings is utterly condemnable. We must rise as Nigerians to fight those who are attempting to bring down the roof of our country, capitalizing on issues and problems that are of no consequences.
Mr. President, I suggest that we have come to a stage where this Senate should take very serious measures to mitigate this situation. It is not good always to stand up and have 1 minute silence every time, and it cannot happen. I will suggest, Mr. President, if it is possible, can the National Assembly close to show the seriousness of the situation so that the government will know that they have a duty to address this unfortunate issue. The killing has become so much. Life has no meaning again. Hearing of killing doesn't make any sense again. Every day it is a daily occurrence. I suggest that this unusual situation requires an unusual approach. And the approach I'm suggesting, Mr. President, is that if government has failed to do anything and the police has failed to do anything, we should not be seen to not be doing anything. We should close and send a signal to the country, to the President and all the agencies that we at the National Assembly are not happy with the level of killings in this country.
At the end of the debate on the motion, the Senate resolved to have the relevant committees on security join forces to evolve ways of nipping in the bud the incessant killings in the country.
Implementation of those recommendations rise or depends again on the leadership at the executive level. Because let's be honest, one of the problems we're having is the lack of cooperation or collaboration in seeing those implementation at the level of the security agencies. So instead of us going round and round as he suggested, I would say that we put together leadership, not only leadership, I think also chairmen of some of those important committees, and have a session with the executive to put forward some of our observations, some of the things that we felt have not happened, because the implementation of those conclusion at those summits, at the end of the day, still will fall down at the head of the executive arm of government. So it's better, instead of going back to the agencies that sometimes you call them, or one or two have not come, we're just going to end up not doing anything. Let us, if we all agree for that, let's seek a session with the executive arm of government to discuss fully some of these are recommendations, observations, and put it at their doorstep. I hope that coming from an arm of government that is as important, a new way approach will be taken.
The National Assembly then says plans are on to meet with the federal government to find ways to end the incessant killings in Kaduna and other parts of the country.